Here's a question for you. What is the Pikmin series best known for? Gameplay? Atmosphere? Pikmin. The answer is Pikmin. The Pikmin games wouldn't be Pikmin games without Pikmin. I won't lie, that's genius name design. But specifically, these guys. The three types everybody knows about. Red, blue, and yellow. They appear in every game, they always have their own onions, and they always represent a big step in the game progression. When you discover these three types, you've basically experienced Pikmin. So how long does that take? You already saw the title. We're finding out how long it takes to finish our color theory homework. How long it takes to discover red, blue, and yellow. Conveniently, every game has a cutscene when a given color joins your party for the first time, so each run ends the moment that cutscene starts for the last type. I did my best to research any shortcuts, techniques, or even sequence breaks that could help. I also searched for any record of this challenge being done before, and I was surprised I found nothing. But with that said, if there are any big techniques I missed, or if anybody else has done this challenge before, let me know in the comments below. Although I'm not able to answer everything, I read every one of your comments, and I really appreciate all of them. Anyway, let's start a color theory journey with Pikmin 1. Being an early GameCube game, starting life as a tech demo, of course it starts with unskippable cutscenes. For simplicity, I'm not removing cutscenes from the time, but it doesn't account for that much, at least for most games. And right away we're introduced to a Pikmin special, Day 1 tutorials. You'll quickly notice a trend with these games. Day 1 is a long lesson on what Pikmin are, and are totally unskippable. Well, technically there are some tutorial escape glitches possible, but they will not help us in this challenge. Day 1 gives us red Pikmin, but otherwise plays out as intended, so we swiftly move on to the Forest of Hope. This is the meat of the challenge in this game. Yellow Pikmin are located here, and blue Pikmin can be found as soon as we unlock the next region. It would waste a ton in cutscenes, menuing, and loading to return here a second day, so we need to collect 4 parts today. The Eternal Fuel Dynamo is an easy choice, as is the Whimsical Radar, but from there the remaining parts are a bit tricky. The Shock Absorber is over a ledge behind a spotty bulb orb, the Extraordinary Bolt is behind a black stone wall, and the Nova Blaster is behind a bramble wall and a spotty bulb orb. Despite the obstacles, I decided to wrap around behind the landing site. Getting 4 parts today is going to be tight, at least for a casual, like me, so minimizing distance and focusing on the forest backside seemed like the best idea. This may have taken a few times, maybe more than a few times, but finally I got a clean run and was able to reach the Nova Blaster. I'm not sure what to say about this. By some miracle, the 4th part of the Forest of Hope and the 5th part overall was collected just in time, unlocking the Forest Navel. Seriously, I have no words for how close this was. And with that, we're done, because all we need to do is walk to the Blue Onion and pluck our final type of Pikmin. This game proved to be more of a challenge than I expected, considering only one day involved any action, but this is the first game, so we'll see how the others compare. And I'll show you how long each game took at the end. Pikmin 2 starts off with more unskippable cutscenes. Being a sequel, they needed to step everything up, and they did so, by making the cutscenes even longer. The tutorial day is a bit more involved this time, but still doesn't have much in the way of options, so again we just sprout some red Pikmin and collect the first treasure. Making our way to the Emergence Cave as quickly as possible, we skip everything on sublevel 1 and sprout a new Pikmin type, which we don't care about. But we do care about the Spherical Atlas, which requires purple Pikmin. And we'll need purple later, so we mop the floor with this floor, and the day automatically ends. The Awakening Wood is the Forest of Hope of this game. Especially in this run, most of the challenge will take place here. The Blue Onion is found here, but it's blocked behind an electric gate. By all accounts, you should have to return here later with yellow Pikmin. But there's a chance we might not. While most of the squad works on this bramble wall, the Sunseed Berry is taken close to the ship. There's a chance this might be used later. With no distractions whatsoever, we enter the Hole of Beasts, and all we care about here is the purple Pikmin. I mean, we still don't really care about them, but with these new additions, we just give up. Yep, that's it. That's the run. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Back on the surface, we flatten this bag and enter the White Flower Garden, where we find more Pikmin we don't care about. This time, though, we actually need to fight the boss. The Burrowing Snagrid is quickly flattened by the sheer weight of our inability to care, and we collect the most important treasure in the game, the 5-man knapsack. And now, I sleep. This item gives us the radical ability to lay down. While in this state, Pikmin will pick us up like the treasure we truly are. This game has a bunch of invisible paths programmed into every region, routes back to the landing site, and Pikmin will try to bring items onto one of these paths as quickly as possible. Sometimes, if you're positioned just right, that can involve carrying you straight up walls. And if we stand up with good timing, we can skip this poisoned wall and stand on these weighted platforms. These weighted platforms move up and down based on, you guessed it, weight. I'm not sure if Olimar is totally thin or this Pikmin is totally fat, but it weighs more and causes Olimar's platform to rise. There's a chance this is where the Sunseed Berry will be useful. If the cutscene for collecting it happens right as the platform begins to rise, you'll find Olimar clipped inside. From here, we can just quickly finagle our way out of bounds, follow around the wall without clipping back in bounds or falling into the void early, run underneath the left side of this fern, and lay down with just the right timing to spawn next to the blue onion. To my understanding, if a captain falls into the void, they're placed back at the ship, but if a treasure falls, it's placed at the nearest checkpoint along one of the aforementioned routes. So if you lay down, the borrowed code that allows Pikmin to carry you like an object causes you to respawn at a checkpoint instead. Feel free to fact check me on this one, but regardless, it allows us to discover the blue onion. This is where I took a bit of a gamble with the route. I actually took some red Pikmin and re-entered the White Flower Garden. This accomplishes two things. When we emerge, the blue onion will be relocated to the landing site, and we'll have more white Pikmin to break down the other poisoned wall. While they're working on that, I toss the blue Pikmin up to work on the bridge, and after collecting the geographic projection, we end the day plenty early. Finally, we arrive at the Perplexing Pool, which is the forest navel of this game. Actually, it's based on the distant spring, but you know what I mean. This is the final area for us, but unlike Pikmin 1, the final onion isn't just handed to us. Normally, you need to cross this white puzzle, kill a fiery Bulblax, and break down another poison gate. But I don't really feel like it. That's too much work. I'd rather just take a nap.
Wow! Look how far I climbed! And I'm not even tired!
By carefully walking along the walls, we can fall into the yellow onion area and whistle them to finish the challenge. In case you hadn't noticed already, this was done on the original GameCube game. The new Play Control Wii version patched this, since you can basically whistle anywhere you want. This was an interesting dynamic because at no point was there really much of a time concern. Unlike its predecessor, Pikmin 2 was more focused on execution. So let's see how that continues as we move on to Pikmin 3. We are greeted right away with the first skippable cutscenes of the run. So hopefully the game will continue to show us mercy with an easy and pleasant run. The game starts with the ever-growing tutorials, so let's just move on to the first real day. The Garden of Hope is a test of speed. Not a whole lot is done differently from a casual playthrough, it's just done faster. Send 5 Pikmin to this pile of shards, send 3 to collect this dwarf bulb orb and 1 to this pellet, while the rest of the squad breaks down this wall to reach the other shards. Break down this wall, enter the cave, and discover rock Pikmin, which we'll want to grow a few more of for later. We need to save Brittany here, but we don't have much time to spare, so instead of proceeding through this path and building another bridge, it's faster to return from whence we came. Behind this glass wall, we can throw a captain and Pikmin across the stream, build the bridge, break the wall, and reach the armored Maudad. This certainly didn't take more than one, or a couple, or several attempts, but eventually we're able to collect the Data Glutton and finish our business in one day. This means Brittany gets separated again literally the following morning, and in this region, things only get worse. After growing some yellow Pikmin in this cave, we emerge to the distant tundra, and we're immediately faced with the scale of this challenge. So let's first start with what's supposed to happen here. Brittany and Alf are separated, and the only way to reunite seems to be to build this long bridge. That requires passing Pikmin back and forth to reach 1, 2, 3, 4 piles of shards, blocked by gates, crystals, and enemies. Once together, you can use both captains to get behind this ball, push it to open this cave, and follow the route to the Behemoth Fozbat. This boss is extremely time-consuming to defeat, and holds Charlie, the final captain. So, completing this in one day seems maybe a bit impossible. Even doing it in 2 days requires some focus and not wasting a ton of time. But thankfully, this game has some glitches that will completely open this region. As the yellow Pikmin are working on this gate, I take the rest of my squad with Alf to obtain the dodge whistle. There's a chance this may come in handy. The dodge whistle really seems like a half-baked afterthought, but we'll absolutely take it. We'll just throw all of our yellow Pikmin on this wall for no particular reason, and head to the top of this slide. With the right angle, you can roll over the slide and land on the edge. By following it down, running around this grass, and climbing up against this yellow gate wall thing, you can stand on this peak. You can, once again, dodge roll over the slide, walk around the area out of bounds to meet the yellow Pikmin, and throw them to the ball. With the cave opened, Brittany can easily get to the Behemoth Fozbat room, which we completely ignore and push down this bag to reunite with Alf, and more importantly, the rest of the Pikmin. By prioritizing the big light bulb and using our whole squad to deal damage, we can quickly free Charlie and finish this region once again in a single day. You may have noticed we got Charlie, but no special item. We don't unlock a new area, just 3 captains. Back in the tropical wilds, having 3 captains allows us to make this trip across the gaps and reach the sand-belching Meerslug. This guy is kind of annoying, but also seems strongly opposed to actually killing Pikmin, so eventually we take him down as well and collect the folded data glutton. This is by far the easiest day since the tutorial, but this guy somehow got launched into space and landed out of bounds, so that's cool. But I may have made a mistake calling it easy, because the Twilight River is unquestionably the hardest challenge in this entire video. So once again, let's set the stage for how this area is supposed to be played. You start off by seeing a pink onion in the distance, so you need to break down this electric gate, defeat some enemies, and carry shards back from these piles to build a bridge. After freeing the onion and growing some flying Pikmin, this branch can be lifted, freeing lily pads to travel down this stream and take you to the second part of the region. This section is centered around a giant stump where the boss is found. First, you need to break this wall just to find another bridge. By taking the lily pads further, fighting this swarm of scornets, breaking down yet another wall, and lifting this clipboard, oh, not that one, you can find 1 pile of shards. This dirt mound hides more shards that need to be unearthed one at a time, and by giving a captain to the high ground at the end of this stream, you can reach the final pile. With the bridge built, you can finally face the Scornet Maestro, who is stupidly time-consuming, and drops Louie, who we need to carry back to the ship. And do it in 1 day, of course. It doesn't take an expert to diagnose this with impossible, but now that we have the intended route, let's talk about how we don't do most of it. By running at the right angle against this rock, you'll slowly clip out of bounds, fall into the void, and spawn on the shore. This is possibly the easiest glitch I've ever done. But how do we save the onion? Well, as it turns out, all Pikmin can swim. They just don't like to very much. By throwing them from one side and calling them from the other, they'll safely make it across, and we can discover flying Pikmin. We'll need to balance having a decent number of flying Pikmin with not wasting too much time, so I gather everything in the immediate area before lifting the branch. Meanwhile, the other captains call out some more rocks, take the other stream, and join the flying Pikmin to the second area. It's important to kill this arachnode first, since the flying Pikmin will carry Louie through here. The rocks are then left to deal with this wall while the rest of the squad does other things. You can throw a captain onto this high ground to skip the Scornet horde, and this pile of shards can easily be reached by just charging flying Pikmin at it. While this is going on, we'll just bypass the bridge entirely. By throwing 2 captains onto this branch and throwing 1 onto this ledge, they can do a familiar out-of-bounds clip and respawn on the path to the boss. So what was the point of the shards then? Well, we also need to get Louie back across, and the Pikmin refuse to skip it. The idea is to finish the bridge during the immense downtime the boss has, but before I could even get close, the day ended. So I tried again, and again, and again. Pink onion, arachnode, wall, shards, more shards, pink onion, arachnode, shards, more waiting, more pink onion, more shards. This just isn't going to work. It's just not possible to build this bridge fast enough. If only we could just skip it. What if we could skip it? I wasn't making any more progress, so I did some more research and found this video from Press A, where he showed something amazing. If you drop Louie in just the right way, he'll fall off the ledge, allowing us to, throw a captain and some Pikmin over onto this ledge, and skip the bridge entirely. And after a few more attempts, without needing to build a single bridge, Louie was finally retrieved. This was one of the most satisfying things in recent memory, collecting Louie and ending the day. This is by far the earliest I've ever rescued him in Pikmin 3. Now, how much of my real life time did this take? With Louie safely secured so he can't break free and, I don't know, run away with the food or something, the next morning he breaks free and runs away with the food. I guess he's also carrying explosives or something, because he inexplicably blows up the wall in the Garden of Hope, granting us access to the rest of this region. Just like in Pikmin 1, we need to just walk to the Blue Onion, and finally, this game is done. And before you ask, I did look up any ways to reach this onion early. They were ruthless with blocking this onion off. All I found was this video of Greenalink managing to get to the other side of the wall just to discover the Blue Onion is surrounded by another invisible wall. Seriously, shoutouts to Greenalink, his videos from like 12 years ago were a lifesaver. Pikmin 3 could have easily been a video in itself, but we discovered Blue Pikmin on day 6, so I consider that a win. And finally, we can move on to the last game, the creatively named Pikmin 4. Despite all the controversy around this game, I find it really fun. But what I will concede is that the gameplay is interrupted a lot. Hopefully that won't take up too much time. As of recording this, a big update was just released and we have the option to skip the tutorial day and carry over Ochi's skills. I had to make a decision and I eventually decided that skipping any actual gameplay wouldn't be in the spirit of this challenge, so we start anew. Thankfully, the cutscenes are still skippable, but honestly that just shows how many there are. I probably pressed plus more than I threw Pikmin in this run. The first tutorial day, as with the others, isn't really interesting at all. But at least I can turn off the auto lock on now. With the tutorial finished, we can start the first real day in the Sun-Speckled Terrace, and hey, look at that. This is the most open Pikmin game, and the onions aren't core parts of the progression like before, so you can find a blue onion in the first area. The problem is getting to it. It's on the other side of this pond, on top of a sheer cliff, and requires 20 Pikmin to carry. Right now, all we have is 10 red Pikmin and a small dog. This is a puzzle, so before the run, I routed out the best way to get there. We start off the day by collecting this pile of material. We'll need 30 of them for later. Next is the first real cave, for some reason named the Last Frost Cavern. Importantly, we get Ice Pikmin, save Russ, and collect the first Flowerlick. If you haven't played this game, or maybe you've repressed the memory of this mechanic, you can only call out 20 Pikmin, and you need Flowerlicks to increase that cap by 10 each. We can re-enter the cave to quickly get 5 more Ice Pikmin. 15 is important before we move on. These Ice Pikmin easily kill the fiery Blowhog, opening up a new landing site. The onion is in view, but we still have a lot to do. Around the next corner, we can wrap around and reach another cave, the Crackling Cauldron. Despite focusing on fire-based enemies and hazards, what we need here is yellow Pikmin. Oh right, I guess that's important. We have yellow Pikmin now. Nothing else is needed here, so once again, we leave the cave with 0 treasure collected. Back on the surface, these yellow Pikmin can reach the second Flowerlick, increasing our Pikmin cap to a crucial number of 40. And now, with plenty of time remaining, we brace ourselves and end the day. Unfortunately, this game has a few features that only unlock the day after you save Russ, so we can't get that onion until at least day 3. In the morning, Ochi spontaneously expands and no one questions it. This is the main mechanic we had to wait for. Before leaving, we can buff Ochi's buff skill, so he has the carry strength of 10 Pikmin. Back at the terrace, we have one more errand to run. Near the initial landing site is a cave over a small ledge that we somehow couldn't scale before. The only thing to get here is Ice Pikmin. This requires building a climbing wall, and these two will not leave until this bag is moved, but now we have everything we need. 30 Ice Pikmin and 10 Red Pikmin. The Ice Pikmin can freeze the pond, allowing the Reds to build the climbing wall. In the meantime, we leave Ochi at this platform, preferably far enough away from the berry stalk that he doesn't collect them. Once the wall is finished, calling the Ice Pikmin gives us enough time to bring them all up, the Blowhog is dead, and we've reached the onion. We needed all of our Pikmin to carry the onion down the ledge to Ochi. From there, we can swap, refreezing the pond so Ochi and the red Pikmin can get the onion to the, onion, sprouting 1 blue seed. And Pikmin 4, our final challenge, is finished. Similar to Pikmin 2, this was more of a puzzle than a test of speed. But for a game that can easily take 50 in-game days, and has the most explorable regions by far, it's ironic that this challenge can be completed on day 3 in the first full area. As of right now, that's the final game. Yes, there aren't any other games in this franchise, they're all nice and consistent with no outliers. To collect the only Pikmin that matter, it took Pikmin 1 25 minutes and 32 seconds. Pikmin 2 took 54 minutes and 15 seconds, with 3.5 minutes being the intro cutscene. Pikmin 3 took an hour and 9 minutes, with most of that being gameplay because the cutscenes were skippable. And finally, Pikmin 4 took 36 minutes and 56 seconds. It's hard to say how much of this wasn't gameplay since there are constant interruptions, but if I had to make an educated guess, I'd say it's a lot. I'm not that surprised that Pikmin 3 was the longest. It's the most linear and story-driven game, and the following game made the big shift to be more open. But it honestly felt much longer owing to how difficult it was. 1 had really tight timing, and 2 had finicky glitches, but none of it compared to the sheer difficulty of completing the Garden of Hope, Distant Tundra, Tropical Wilds, and it. I always like to end these challenge videos with whether or not I'd recommend it, and for this one, no. At least not for 3, unless you really hate yourself. But the others weren't too bad. The first game was a fun test of efficiency, and the glitches in the second one were cool. Let me know if you do try it out, or if there are any tricks I missed. Subscribe, I guess, and until next time.